Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 32nd Annual Awards of Sports Program at the United States Sports Academy. Every year since 1984, the Academy has honored hundreds of men and women for their contributions to the world of sports. The theme, The Artist and the Athlete celebration, honors the tradition of Pierre de Coubertin, who is the founding father of the modern Olympics. He believed very strongly that the art of sport and the art of sport and art are inextricably intertwined, and the Sports Academy here with our own ASAMA, the American Sports Arts Museum and Archives, has that same philosophy. Over the years, some of the icons of sport have been honored in this ceremony. Just since the year 2000, the Academy has honored the following athletes: Usain Bolt, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Maria Sharapova, Serena Williams, Barry Bonds, Brett Favre, Michael Phelps, Annika Sorenstam, and Tiger Woods. And you can see from that list, 6 of them are from countries other than the United States, so it is truly a worldwide celebration. We've also honored the following coaches: Gino Auriemma, Pete Carroll, Phil Jackson, Bill Belichick, Tony Dungy, and Nick Saban. And that's just since the year 2000, and between those 6 coaches, they have 30 combined national or world championships in sports. However, just as important as these great athletes and coaches are the contributions of the wonderful people who most of us have probably never heard of. A couple of examples: United States Navy Lieutenant Bradley Snyder, a blind swimmer who lost his sight in his service in Afghanistan and has won several gold medals in the Paralympics in swimming. And Dr. Steve Devick, who is the co-founder of the King-Devick concussion test, a test that one of our wonderful students here used in his dissertation to help do concussion education in the area. In many ways, I think the recipients of these medallion awards have contributed just as much to the world of sports as these amazing athletes. Before we get started this evening, I'd like to introduce a few of the very important people who are with us tonight. And I'm not one of those who believes you have to wait to the end to clap, so if you want to clap for somebody, please feel free to do so. First of all, Dr. Thomas J. Rozandich, our President and CEO. Dr. Thomas P. Rozandich, our President Emeritus and National Honorary Doctorate recipient. Ms. Latanya Sheffield, our Alumna of the Year. Dr. Robert Block, our founding member of the Academy's Board of Trustees, who will be honored later this evening. Mr. Hector Cardona, our International Honorary Doctorate recipient. Mr. Gregory Burns, our Sports Artist of the Year sculptor. Painter. And Mr. Stephen White, our Sport Artist of the Year sculptor. Ms. Gretchen Brown, our recipient of the Distinguished Service Award, and Mr. Dick Frank. Also in the front row, we have our Board of Trustees, and some of them in our second row, and certainly we couldn't do what we do without the support of our Board of Trustees, a real who's who in sports and education in this country. So let's give the Board of Trustees a big hand. We also have members of the Academy's Art Committee here with us tonight. And we have all spaced out all through the room. We also have the faculty and staff of the United States Sports Academy, who are the ones who really make all of this happen. So faculty and staff, thanks for all your help. Finally, since tomorrow is Veterans Day, we'd like to have a special thanks to those of us. Would everybody who has ever served in the United States Armed Forces please stand? Thank you all so much for your service. At this time, we'll commence with the awarding of the honorary doctorates. Academy Trustee Dr. Gary Cunningham will present the International Honorary Doctorate to Senor Hector F. Cardona. Dr. Cunningham and Senor Cardona, please come forward. Proclamation. Hector F. Cardona, International Honorary Doctorate. Whereas the United States Sports Academy, America's Sports University, desires to acknowledge and honor those who have distinguished themselves through outstanding leadership and achievement in sports, sports education, and in sports-related professions, and whereas Senor Hector F. Cardona of San Juan, Puerto Rico, has long been recognized as an international sports leader who has been especially instrumental in the success of sport in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean, And whereas in 2015, Mr. Cardona was reelected unanimously for a fourth term as president of the Central American and Caribbean Sports Organization, having served in this position since 2000. And whereas Mr. Cardona's leadership is crucial as the organization oversees the Central American and Caribbean Games, a multi-sport regional championship event held every 4 years for nations in Central America, the Caribbean, and participating South American countries, involving 31 nations and 41 sports. And whereas Senor Cardona has served in numerous additional sports leadership positions, including president of the Puerto Rico Olympic Committee for 17 years, executive council member of the Association of National Olympic Committees for 12 years, and executive member to the Pan American Sports Organization for 5 years. And whereas Senor Cardona served as president of the Puerto Rico Boxing Federation for 16 years, vice president of the Amateur International Boxing Association for 12 years, and secretary general of the Puerto Rico Olympic Committee for 11 years. And whereas Senor Cardona distinguished himself as an athlete by playing AA baseball, and through his success in track and field, including the 110-meter hurdles and long jump. And whereas Senor Cardona's sports leadership accomplishments span 6 decades in administration, athlete development, and the Olympic movement. And whereas Senor Cardona's home country has acknowledged his substantial and long-term contributions to sport around the world by awarding him the high honor of induction into the Puerto Rico Sports Hall of Fame in 2007. Now let it therefore be known near and far that Senor Hector F. Cardona has served his family, his nation, and sport throughout the world with distinction, dignity, and integrity. At this time, I would ask Dr. Cunningham to present the honoree with the Order of the Eagle Exemplar with rosette.
Power vested in me by the great state of Alabama and the Board of Trustees of the United States Sports Academy, it is with pleasure that I confer upon you the International Doctorate, honoris causa, with all rights thereto appertaining. Congratulations, and please.
Thank you.
Buenas noches. Good night. Dr. T.J. Rosendich, President of the United States Sport Academy, Dr. Thomas Rosendich, President Emeritus, member of the Board of Trustees, distinguished guests and friends. Today marks a very special day not only for myself, but also for my family and the Central American and Caribbean Sport Organization. Central American and Caribbean Sport Organization is the second older sport organizing entity among the Olympic family, only surpassed by the modern Olympic Games themselves. Dating back to 1926 in Mexico City, the Central American and Caribbean Games have continued uninterrupted for over 90 years. The next Central American and Caribbean Games will be held in Barranquilla, Colombia in 2018. Over 6,000 young athletes from 31 countries. In all my years as sport organizer, I have witnessed firsthand the importance of the sport in our society. My career began as an athlete in baseball, which led me to become president of our local boxing federation and later as a Secretary General and President of the Puerto Rican Olympic Committee. It has been my honor to serve as the President of the Central American and Caribbean Sport Organization for the past 12 years. 6 decades have passed quickly. We pursue one idea, that bringing people together in peace, irrespective of race, religion, and political conviction for the benefit of mankind. Now, more than ever, sport is an universal language and plays the role of catalyst in today's society. We at the Central American and Caribbean Sport Organization are committed to developing and protecting sport and the Olympic spirit. I deeply honor to receive this award And many thanks to the United States Sport Academy, the Board of Trustees, and my good friends, Olympic analyst, Dr. Liston Donald Bochet. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Senor Cardona. At this time, Academy Trustee Dr. Don C. Wukash will present the National Honorary Doctorate to the founding president of the United States Sports Academy, Dr. Thomas P. Rosandich. Dr. Wukash and Dr. Rosandich, please come forward. Proclamation, Dr. Thomas P. Rosandich, Honorary Doctorate. Whereas the United States Sports Academy, America's sports university, desires to acknowledge and honor those who have distinguished themselves through outstanding leadership and achievement in sports, sports education, and in sports-related professions, and whereas Dr. Thomas P. Rosandich, a native of Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, and resident of Daphne, Alabama, had the inspiration, vision, and determination to found the United States Sports Academy in 1972, and whereas Dr. Rosandich served the Academy as president for 43 years, guiding it to success as America's only freestanding accredited sports university, the largest graduate school of sport in the world, and has a special mission educational institution of sport that today offers degrees at the bachelor's, master's, and doctoral levels to students around the globe. And whereas to the leadership of Dr. Rosandich, the Academy has confirmed thousands of sports-specific degrees to its students and has enriched the lives of countless more through its education outreach programs that have been delivered to some 65 countries. And whereas Dr. Rosandic's appreciation of the relationship between art and sport led to create the American Sport Art Museum and Archives, which has provided cultural enrichment to thousands of people. And whereas Dr. Rosandich has been a tireless supporter, leader, and advocate for the global advancement of sport, especially the Olympic movement, earning numerous national and international honors for his efforts. And whereas Dr. Rosandich served the country with distinction during a 20-year career in the United States Marine Corps Reserves, where he coached numerous world record holders and Olympic track and field athletes, among numerous accomplishments. And whereas Dr. Rosandich starred in football and track and field at the University of Wisconsin La Crosse, where he graduated with a degree in physical education and history, which named him the Maurice O. Graff Distinguished Alumnus in 1989, and each year honors him by presenting the Rosandich Thesis Award, which recognizes a student with the best master's degree thesis of the year. And whereas while Dr. Rosandich has stepped down from his role as the founding president of the Academy, his enduring legacy is that the Academy continues to thrive and serve the profession as an independent, nonprofit, accredited sport mission sports university created to serve the nation and the world with programs in instruction, research, and service, continuing its vital mission of preparing men and women for careers in the profession of sports. Now let it therefore be known near and far that Dr. Thomas P. Rosandich has served his family, his nation, and sport throughout the world with distinction, dignity, and integrity. And at this time, I would like to ask Dr. Wukash to present the honoree with the Order of Eagle Exemplar with rosette.
Thank you, Wook. Thank you much.
By the powers vested in me by the great state of Alabama and the Board of Trustees of the United States Sports Academy, it is with real pleasure that I confer upon you the domestic doctorate honoris causa with all rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Terima kasih banyak.
Kimbali.
TJ and Don Wukash understand it. It's Indonesian for thank you very much. They both know that I built the first sports academy in Indonesia. Don taught in the Academy of Anatomy and Physiology. My good wife Sally was the secretary for the institution. The academy, by the way, still stands and functions in that great country. Don was there, by the way, with the Navy as a doctor, serving the Peace Corps, which I came to the United States and recruited to go to Indonesia. It was the beginning of the Sport Corps. Very, very program in the world. When I founded the Academy in the United States, I gathered 5 people. One of them is here tonight. We're the last 2 standing. How much longer, I'm not sure. But that's Dr. Bob Block, who we will honor later on this evening. The Academy, as you heard, is the only freestanding school of sport in the country. There are 700, 800 people, institutions, many in this town and many in the state of Alabama, that have adopted parts of our program, and primarily in the area of sport management. But we have 5 disciplines, and they are large programs and they're good programs. We simply are the largest graduate school of sport in this country and probably in the world. From a humble beginning of 5 people, one an attorney, one a marketing man, that being Bob Block, one from sport, that's myself, another an educator by the name of Dr. George Ulick, who passed away a short time ago, and he played a major role in the development of this academy. And finally, like always, an attorney to put together the charter and what have you. I had some reluctance on accepting this honorary doctorate, but TJ and I talked about it, and I'm really accepted it for the person who really made the whole thing come together, and that's my good wife Sally Rezondich, who passed away 3 or 4 months ago. The work that she has done for the Academy is probably known only by myself and the family, as it was day and night. From a very simple beginning, the Academy and its assets are worth over $50 million right now. They're not owned by anybody. They're managed by the Board of Trustees, and the Board of Trustees do an excellent job. So we've had some growth. We've had an influence in sport throughout this country and the world, and we're very proud of what we have done. What I did to get us to where we are will not take us to where we have to go, and TJ has that capability, and he is doing very well at it. I would be remiss if I sat down without recognizing those Marines there. Happy birthday. Today is our 241st birthday of the Marine Corps. It is the oldest of the military services in this country. I had the pleasure to serve with the Marines, and it's a very special day, and I'm happy that you're here. Thank you very much. There's another good friend here, the mayor.
No,
Oh, well, we'll see him. No,
Inshallah.
anyhow, it's been a good ride, a great ride. We're very proud of what we have done. We're very proud of our art collection. And most importantly, we're very proud of the thousands and thousands of students who have graduated from the academy, including this young lady that we're gonna honor very, very shortly. I was privileged to have the opportunity to work with this institution for 40-some years, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zonich. A wonderful new Dean of Student Services came up to me last week and said, we have 299 graduates of our doctoral program. And then Sarah Lee, our awesome registrar, said that Alan Ledford just applied for graduation. So if anybody knows Alan Ledford, you can congratulate him. He'll be our 300th graduate of the doctoral program, which is a pretty special milestone for everybody here at the Academy. Unfortunately, our third honorary doctorate recipient, Mr. Charles Wilgus, the Executive Director of USA Swimming, was unable to attend tonight's ceremony due to illness. You can read about Mr. Wilgus in the program, but I wanted to say that the thoughts and prayers of the entire United States Sports Academy family go out to Mr. Wilgus and his family. The final honoree of tonight's graduation ceremony is Ms. Latanya Sheffield. Ms. Sheffield will be presented with the Academy's Alumna of the Year Award by Academy trustee Dr. Linda Moore. Dr. Moore received her Master of Sports Science degree from the Academy in 1989 and was selected as our Alumna of the Year in 2006. Dr. Moore and Ms. Sheffield, please come forward. The Alumnus of the Year Award is given each year to the most outstanding United States Sports Academy alumnus. The awardee must represent the ideals of sport and the Academy. Ms. Latanya Sheffield is an Olympic hurdler, American record holder, and successful track coach. She earned her Bachelor of Sports Science degree in Sports Management, magna cum laude, from the Academy in 2011. She served at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games as assistant coach for USA Track and Field's women's team, having served that organization numerous times around the world. Currently an assistant track coach at Long Beach State University in California, Ms. Sheffield was a two-time All-American and 1985 NCAA champion in the 400-meter hurdles at San Diego State University. She established an American record in the women's 400-meter hurdles in 1985 at 54.66 seconds. Ms. Sheffield was a finalist in the 400-meter hurdles at the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2016 United States Sports Academy's Alumna of the Year, Ms. Latanya Sheffield. Ms. Sheffield, would you like to make a few remarks?
Wow, this is absolutely exciting. I gotta tell you that it's very humbling, and I appreciate the United States Sports Academy, the Board of Trustees, and all of the faculty and staff. I owe so much to you. There are some new things that I would like to acknowledge, if you will, because this institution allowed me a second chance. And as I think over what my life and many others, if you will, like me, my constituents, of female athletes as Olympians, as just humble people wanting to serve our country in the athletic realm, I am a vehicle, I'm a product of your growth, your development, of your idea. And so I want to personally say thank you, because it allowed me so many different opportunities. Just recently, I was able to represent the United States in another capacity outside of being an athlete, but this time at the 2016 Rio Games. And it was absolutely amazing to coach some of the finest athletes in the world. And being the sprint and hurdle and relay coach of our Olympic team was absolutely amazing. I'm not quite sure if you all got an opportunity to watch, but I know one memorable moment that will go down in history is our 4x1 women's relay, in which the baton was dropped and we had to petition to get another opportunity. That opportunity was granted because we were impeded in our performance. And so that opportunity was granted. However, they said, well, United States, we'll give you this opportunity one more time. However, you'll have to do it this way should you accept. You will have to run the same 4 people in the same lane, in the same lineup, but by yourself. And not only by yourself, you will have to run faster than the least, the slowest time that qualified. And that would be the only provision for you to have another opportunity. Do you accept? We didn't have to give it a second thought. Of course we accepted, because this is a land of opportunity. And so, as the relay coach, I went to the 4 girls and I told them the provision in order for us to be even considered on the relay team, on the podium, if you will, to even try out for the gold medal. And they said, Coach, we're gonna take you up on that offer. Matter of fact, we're gonna take the world up on that offer. And those 4 ladies, they didn't put their shoes on and just take the baton and go out there. They had a whole country on their shoulders. And they marched out and they positioned themselves in their respective places. And when that gun went off, they ran. They ran hearing the silent roar of the crowd. They ran as though they had all of the opponents in each and every lane contesting them. They ran with the strength and the courage that the United States has. They ran because of their parents. They ran because of their neighbors. They ran because of the will. They ran because they had goals. And not only did they finish the race with the fastest qualifying time and the second fastest Olympic time in history. They ran. We found ourselves in the backfield. And I could only be so proud of those 4 ladies. And what I shared with them is what I want to share with you. That day, they represented the United States in such a momentous manner. They showed what we are about in our neighborhoods, on the playing field, and what you all taught me when you gave me another chance to earn my degree here at the United States Sports Academy. Character, courage, seizing the moment, just another chance. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that this opportunity, I'm a product of you. I'm a product of you. And so I'm no longer that assistant coach that you described in that warm introduction. But now I stand today as the associate head coach of Long Beach State, and I have every thankfulness to the United States Sports Academy for allowing me another opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sheffield. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony. We will now commence with the annual Awards of Sports program. Our first two presentations are the Jianglan Ha Cultural Awards for the Sport Artist of the Year. These awards bear the name of the long-serving chairman of the International Olympic Committee's Commission for Culture and Olympic Education. The Sport Artist of the Year award is presented to an individual or individuals who capture the spirit and life of sport so that future generations can relive the drama of today's competition. Recipients may use a variety of art media, including film, video, or sculpture, to depict the breadth and scope of both the agony and ecstasy of sport. Our first award is Sport Artist of the Year, Painter. This award will be presented to Mr. Gregory Burns by Academy trustee Mr. Jack Shar. Mr. Burns and Mr. Shar, please come forward. Mr. Gregory Burns is an acclaimed athlete and painter who proves daily that art and sport can coexist on the highest levels. He is a world champion Paralympic swimmer who has won 5 gold and silver medals and broken 4 world records in 3 Paralympic Games. He is also a world-class contemporary artist whose abstract impressionist paintings and exhibitions have received international acclaim for more than 3 decades. Mr. Burns believes that polio, a disease long considered eradicated, is what galvanized him to pursue such a remarkably active set of dual careers. A child of U.S. Foreign Service parents, Mr. Burns contracted the disease while they served in the Middle East during the late 1950s. Born in Washington, D.C., Burns has lived all around the world and currently resides in Singapore. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Shar to confer upon Mr. Burns the Order of Eagle Exemplar with rosette.
May I add that this is the first gold medal athlete ever to win Sport Artist of the Year.
Yes.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you all for having me here. You know, as my folks probably will recall, living far from home in a foreign land and picking me up as a child and handing me to the doctor who was a seasoned Israeli doctor in 1959, and to look up at him and look in his face and look for some signs of hope, and to see him crying instead. It was a tough nut, you know. The good news was, as my mother used to say, everything from there on out was going to be better. And what my mother used to also say was the best thing that ever happened to Gregory was my sister Roberta. Because as a result of my sister Roberta, my mother could no longer baby Gregory. So I grew up kind of normal, if you will, having a disability at a time when disabilities were not in. You know, we were a small group of people, and I was always different. I always had my own little world that I was in, and my world included painting and swimming. The doctor said the best thing for a child with polio would be to swim. So at 3 years old, I jumped in the water and started playing tadpole and swimming around, and I loved just to be in the water. And I think possibly because I was free. I had no braces and crutches, and I could just be a squid or a dolphin or something. And I started drawing and painting when I was 5. And truth be told, I wanted to be a rock and roll star when I was a kid. You know, it was the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. I have to give you my age. And so I used to do paintings of the Rolling Stones and Beatles. But my real joy, I thought, was to, at some point, stand up and be in front of a crowd of screaming young women who would throw their underwear at me or something. That never happened, but I have you to appreciate being here and welcoming me here today. So, as an athlete and as an artist, I've often been asked, how do those two things go together? How do you? They're so different, aren't they? And in fact, I don't think they're different at all. I think they are pretty much from the same, they come from the same gene, the same pool, the same spirit. You need to galvanize your body, your mind, and your heart. You have to put all three of these things into your sport and into your art. And so I've had a life of doing that. And I'll never forget when I moved to California in 1977, I heard about what was called Sports for People with Disabilities. And at that time, there was a company, I think it was a watch company that used to support this Paralympic team. We weren't even called the Paralympics back then. I competed all over California, and then all over America, and then all over the world for sports. But I never swam in a Paralympics. And then in 1991, I was living on a boat, and I was sailing between Tahiti and China, making television documentaries. And we happened to stop in a place called Palau. And this happened to be at the same time the Gulf War, the first one, was going on. And here I was in Palau, and I had some time, and I found this station called CNN. And they were showing all this Gulf War activity. And I'd never been very nationalistic, to be honest, in my life. But at that moment, I thought, you know, not that war is right, and I'm not a person to proclaim that war is something we should be doing, but at that time, it felt to me like America was doing something with itself. It was pulling itself up by its bootstraps, in a way. And here I was in Palau on a boat sailing or making documentaries. I said, what could I possibly do that might help in this effort? And I had this crazy idea, well, I could swim in the Barcelona Paralympics, which are about a year away. So I docked the boat in Hong Kong, and I started living in Hong Kong, and I started training in Hong Kong. And I had two full-time jobs. I was working a day job from 9 to 5, and then I was working for a company called Star TV, and I was working a night job in Prime Sports. And so I had two night jobs, a day and a night job. And I trained during my lunch hour, and I trained before I went to class, to work in the morning. And sometimes I would fall asleep as I was swimming during my lunch hour because I was so tired. And I didn't have a coach. I coached myself, and I managed to go and swim in Barcelona. And I managed to set the world record in the 100-meter breaststroke. It was crazy. The next 4 years later was Atlanta. And I had a much better training regime. I had one job. And I had one girlfriend who would become my wife, who fueled me with pasta. And I swam in Atlanta in front of 17,000 people, along with the U.S. relay team. We scored 2 gold medals and 2 world records in the 200-meter freestyle and the 200-meter medley relay. And I scored a world record in the 100-meter backstroke. So sports has fueled me. It's made my body strong all these decades. And art has fueled my heart. And I do think we need both in this world, and especially in these times we are in now. So thank you for your award, your accolade. I feel very honored to have it. Thank you all for being here tonight, and I appreciate your time. And good night.
Mr. Burns, could you please step over to the display to my right? I'd like to ask Ms. Nancy Raya, Chair of the Academy's Art Committee, and Mr. Shar to assist in the unveiling of your work titled Podium that will become a part of the permanent collection of the ASAMA.
In 2008, I was in Beijing, and I was preparing for a big exhibition there, and I did a whole series of paintings that I felt honored the Olympians and Paralympians. And this is one of those paintings. So it has had a long history. It lived in Beijing for a while. It lived in a shed outside of Beijing for a while. It lived in a friend's house in Beijing for a while. It was in my studio in Singapore for a while. But all good things come to pass, and it now has found a good home here. So thank you very much.
Our next award recipient is the 2016 Sports Artist of the Year Sculptor. This award will be presented to Mr. Stephen White by Academy trustee Ms. Susan N. McCullough. Mr. White and Ms. McCullough, please come forward. Mr. Stephen White is a British-born American sculptor known internationally for his realistic and engaging bronzes of people. He has received acclaim for his highly detailed and stirring works on the dynamic spectacle of athleticism. One of his most famous works is at Texas A&M University's Kyle Field. The piece is a larger-than-life, 39-foot-long monument to the tradition of the school's ferociously dedicated student fans, who are commonly referred to as the 12th Man. Born in Amesbury, England, Mr. White was invited at age 24 to become the youngest ever member of the London-based Society of Portrait Sculptors, where he worked in tandem with a sculptor to the British royal family. In 2003, Mr. White relocated from England to Carmel, California, where he operates an open studio and gallery. At this time, I would like to ask Ms. McCullough to confer upon Mr. White the Order of the Eagle exemplar with rosette.
These guys are a tough act to follow. I don't know whether to start listing my sports achievements first or my thanks, but my thanks are genuine, and it's my first major award in the US as an immigrant here. I came over in 1999 to work on the US Open Monument in Pebble Beach, and from then on we've got 43 life-size and larger figures across the United States in bronze and celebrating heroes. And my favorite thing to sculpt is uniforms, whether they be military or sports. And sports heroes are absolutely essential. They are the sculptures that we do really put there solely to be an inspiration to those that see them. And nobody cares who the sculptor is. Everybody cares that the monument is there to serve its purpose, to inspire young people to greater things. So to be honored, for my part, of making big clay people is unique and rare. So it's just an honor. As my sports achievements go, I was the county champion of javelin at age 13. I have no higher achievements than that. Nor do I have any ambition in that field. I did joke with Gregory on the way here that we've got a lot of sports projects coming up and some really big ones. And I've said to him, I looked through the list of the previous recipients of the award, and I thought, there's nobody appeared here twice. Maybe that's my goal. We've got some really big pieces coming up for various stadiums across the world, and maybe I'll be the first person to receive the award twice. That's my goal. In the meantime, thank you all so very much. It's humbling with the other recipients and the board. Thank you very much.
Mr. White, if you could, please step to the display to my left. I would like to ask Ms. Raya and Ms. McCullough to assist in an unveiling of your work titled The John David Crow Monument Maquette that will become a permanent part of the Asama collection.
This piece was actually part of my collection at home, and I thought it would be much better here. It was one of the 3 designs I did for the client that was commissioning a 12-foot statue of John David Crow for Texas A&M. A statue that I worked with John David on. He sadly passed away in 2015. He was great to work with. The client, when he first worked with me, I did portraits of all his grandkids, like 11 grandkid busts. and he said, I want to work with you on something for A&M. I want to do a portrait of my friend John David Crow. I said, that sounds great, we can do that. And he says, I don't care how big it is, it just has to be bigger than the Dope Walker. So I said, that's not going to be a problem, we can make it as big as you like. And then I did 3 maquettes for him, and this was the one he chose. And then we worked with John David on getting it right. You know, I had to have a crash course on how to play football, or how to watch football. And then we started a life-size figure first, and then John David came in and said, no, it's all wrong. My coach would have just got me in so much trouble for running in this way, so we changed the whole thing. We worked with him on it, and I have a great picture of him at 80, 85, stood with his hand on his knee here, looking up at himself as when he was 19, when he won the Heisman. So it is really humbling to meet these great sports achievers, and I look forward to commemorating them in the future.
Our next award is a Distinguished Service Award. This award will be presented to Ms. Gretchen Brown by Academy Trustee Dr. Nick Nicolai. Dr. Nicolai and Ms. Brown, please come forward. The Distinguished Service Award is given annually to individuals who have made outstanding contributions to national or international sport through education, research, or service. Ms. Gretchen Kelsey Brown is co-founder of Athletic Business Magazine and Chief Executive Officer of Athletic Business Media Incorporated. In 1976, she and her father, Fenton Kelsey Jr., launched Athletic Purchasing and Facilities Magazine. In 1980, the publication name changed to Athletic Business to reflect the broadening reach of the editorial content. The magazine and company are based in Madison, Wisconsin. Athletic Business is read in print by more than 40,000 subscribers, and the company has expanded into digital media and live events, including major conferences. The Athletic Business electronic newsletter is read daily by more than 40,000 people, and the Athletic Business website attracts more than 200,000 visitors each month, and has won numerous awards for its content on all aspects of sports. At this time, I would like to call on Dr. Nicolai to confer upon Ms. Brown the Distinguished Service Award.
I'm very humbled to be with the other recipients. My contribution to sport is not quite so glamorous, but it is very long, has quite a longevity to it. Before the awards tonight, I was reminiscing with the both Rosandages, about some of the early days. We are entering our 40th year, and I believe it was probably about 32 years ago that I first visited the Academy as a board visitor. At that time, you had these fabulous ideas of the art and sport complement, and some additional accreditation, which is really laying the foundation for what you are today. And periodically through the years, I have run into alumni from the U.S. Sports Academy, and I can say that you have a real crew of wonderful ambassadors out there that are spreading the word about the great work that you do. And it is really very impressive how you have grown through the years. And our businesses have intertwined greatly. I started with athletic purchasing and facilities with my dad right out of college. And my dad really gave me two wonderful gifts. First was, he lost all his money. He was quite a successful business publisher, and got a little antsy, so he went out and followed his dreams, and he built an ice arena, and he started a couple other less than wise business ventures, and lost all his money. So at quite a late age in life, he had to start over. And that was a real wonderful opportunity, because I had a fabulous mentor, but I didn't have all the entitlement that often can come with having a successful father. The second thing that he did for me that I appreciated, I think, all my life is that he treated me just like he would have treated a son. There really wasn't a difference because I was female. There were really, he didn't look at that as having any boundaries whatsoever. And in the early days, back in the early mid-70s, sports was really quite a locker room place. And I did kind of learn through some very interesting experiences how to become a businesswoman. And I do appreciate that opportunity. I think that it was just expected of me. I didn't really think about it much. I am very honored to accept this award, but I don't take it personally because it's very much a team effort. My husband is a very important, integral part of our company. He came in the 80s and looked at our attempts at launching a conference and was not impressed. And he added a tremendous amount of professionalism and really took us over the top with that part of our business. And many of our employees have been with us for a long time. We do have a lot of new employees, however, because we have made the transition into the digital age. It has been a real rocky road, and I think we're kind of on the other end of it now. Things are going pretty well. But it's still very exciting to me, and once we're not the glamorous side of sports. We write about nuts and bolts things, very much about sports management, about facilities, and just really the down and dirty of how to keep the games going. But it's exciting. I mean, now some of our biggest topics have to do with safety and security. I mean, imagine how that is impacting our world, and being really part of it, being in the middle of all of this exciting information and being able to disseminate it has really makes us feel like we're doing something important. So I appreciate this recognition, and I accept it for our company. Thank you very much.
Our final award this evening is another Distinguished Service Award. This award will be presented to Dr. Dirk Crane by Academy trustee, Mr. Thomas R. Cafaro. Mr. Cafaro and Dr. Crane, please come forward. Dr. Dirk Crane has served since 1998 as president of the European University Business School. Under Dr. Crane's leadership, the school has consistently been ranked among the top business schools in Europe. The private, triple accredited institution has grown substantially under Dr. Crane's guidance and attracts students and instructors from around the world with a passion for business and business education. The school has campuses in Spain, Switzerland, and Germany, and has partnered with nearly 70 other institutions worldwide. A native of Belgium, Dr. Crane has also served as chair of business administration, entrepreneurship, and international relations for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. In 2014, Dr. Crane was awarded the Order of the Crown in Belgium in recognition of his professional achievements. At this time, I'd like to call on Mr. Cafaro to confer upon Dr. Crane the Distinguished Service Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, bonsoir, grüezi miteinander. I have greetings from Europe, and I'm standing here as a free man, and that's also through your nation, because the Marines, they came 2 times to Europe to liberate us. Otherwise, I will speak German tonight. First of all, this award is going to the students, the alumni of our business school of the European University. But I will also be an ambassador of your school. I believe in your values. We share the same values in education. And Dr. Rosandic, which I met 20 years ago in Lausanne at the Olympic Committee, is a role model for me. What the youth of today is missing are values. They make selfies. We made ussies. We made pictures of other people. That's the reason why I accepted also this award, because the family Rosandich incorporates all the values of a great nation. Thank you, and I will be an ambassador of your institution. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please refer to your program for the rest of the Academy's 2016 Awards of Sports recipients. These awards are presented to the honorees by representatives of the Academy literally around the world. We are coming to the conclusion of our program this evening. We thank all of you for being a part of the 32nd Annual Awards of Sports program, but we have one more very important presentation to make at this time. Academy President Emeritus Dr. Thomas P. Rosandich will honor the founding chairman of the Academy's Board of Trustees with the dedication of the Dr. Robert Block Library. Dr. Rosandich and Dr. Block, please come forward.
He's now the president, I can't order him around.
I know.
We're the last two guys standing, Bob.
Keep that on.
As I mentioned before, we had 5 guys that got together and decided that we could make this organization work. And out of the 5, the only one who didn't have a degree was him, so we made him the chairman. Bob is all things to all people. He's the perfect balance of a man. He invented that box that was on top of TVs years and years ago, no longer there, but it served his purpose, and the mechanics of it is there. He has written books on go together is where you shouldn't have that pill with this pill, and the list goes on and on and on and on. He's been a very, very successful businessman and a very, very good friend. He built a beautiful building in Milwaukee and gave me access to it to put together the first facility for the Academy, and in those days he was flying airplanes, and we went around looking at things that we thought might work for the Academy, and we picked this and dropped that and made it all come together. You don't know this, but during Katrina, when the hurricane hit this county and Alabama so very, very hard, it was his radio station down here in Baldwin County that stayed on the air and supported the Coast Guard pilots and what have you, and led a lot of people to saving a lot of lives. And 33,000, that's a lot of lives. He was honored by the Coast Guard in Washington, and I had the occasion to be there with him. Now, what we're gonna do with Bob, as the first chairman, we're gonna name the library in his honor, and there's a plaque on the front door, but to get all of you to that front door, we decided that what we would do,
Let me help.
I think so. Yeah, please. This is a duplicate of the plaque that's at the entrance to the library. We have in there also a very, very large Olympic collection of art and medals and manuscripts that people have donated to us. So it's a very, very special place. Anyhow, couldn't be for a better guy. Now, you wanna say something? Go ahead. That's good.
First of all, thank you. I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to be here.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I decided I'd be here.
Yeah, mind over matter.
Exactly. I wanted to be here to thank you. I've honored you, I've loved you, I've loved your Sally and your kids. You have taught me so much over the years since 1972.
A long time,
It's a long time. And I
another 250 years.
Well, I decided that you gave me so much over these years. I wanted to be here to thank you on this occasion.
Wonderful.
I love you.
Tommy, I guess at this time
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Dr. Thomas J. Rosandi, the President and CEO of the Academy, invites everyone to the main lobby for a reception. After the recessional, we ask all honorees and members of the Board of Trustees to please return to the stage for photographs. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the recessional. When the official party has left the room, please proceed to the reception.
Thank you, Gary. Okay.